Yo, what's good, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sisters review. This is the synopsis for season 7, episode 4. And this episode is entitled Death Becomes Them. I don't know about that title, but we gonna flow with it. The synopsis is Andy and Sabrina find themselves having to compete with workplace rivals. Danny betrays Karen in favor of Zach and Fatima. Let me just deal with the first thing first. Andy and Sabrina find themselves having to compete with workplace rivals. I'm like, damn, Sabrina just got this job. She got a rival already? My God. Okay, but anyway, maybe that'll be a little exciting. I don't know, but seeing them having to go back and forth with people on their job, I ain't gonna shoot the messages just yet. But that is not a storyline I think I'm looking forward to seeing. Yes, those things do happen in real life where you may not like the person that you're working with, but we all professionals. Come here, do your job. I ain't got to like you. You ain't got to like me. We come here, we get our money, and we go home. So to see Andy and Sabrina having to deal with rivals at work, I'm not really interested in that. But I hope that these new writers have made that an interesting storyline, because just reading it doesn't seem like it's something that I would necessarily be interested in. Now we're just going to deal with the nitty gritty of this synopsis, where it says Danny betrays Karen in favor of Zach and Fatima. And truth be told, I'm not shocked. Are you shocked? Danny has always struck me as the friend, and I'm using that word loosely, that you just have to be careful about. And the reason why I say this, I was trying to look for the clip and I couldn't find it because I do not remember which episode it was. I want to say it was where Logan was trying to initially tell Danny that he liked her, he wanted to take her out or something. And I believe she thought he was married. And she was like, I could fix you up with my homegirl Andy. Like, she don't mind messing with married men. And I was like, well, damn. No, she didn't lie. But Danny, you ain't have to say that. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have to say that. And then I'm going to post this clip. This just happened with when the whole situation occurred with Penelope at Jordan's house. And this is what Danny had to say about her friend Andy.
Clear for you. Asked Andy to marry him. Andy said no, because she's got a little sense sometimes.
Now I'm going to go ahead and correct this, because she said that Gary proposed to Andy and Andy said no, and that is a lie. Because I'm like, do you not remember this made up wedding that all y'all was at? You don't remember them purple dresses? Because sis, I remember. All y'all told Karen that she was wrong for expressing the truth about this entire situation, while y'all were just going to go and let your friend marry this man. You forgot that, Danny? So Andy did say yes, she was going to marry Gary. They were engaged for a short time. The fact that she said Andy has sense sometimes, and this is why I always have an issue with the character of Danny, because she will throw her friends under the bus. She will say slick-ish from time to time. Yet I'm like, homegirl, you ain't got no sense either. Because the truth be told, you actually probably a little worse than Andy. And that, I never thought about it till I just said it. But yeah, you probably are. You probably are. But yet, Danny continuously say certain things to her friends. And I'm all for speaking the truth. But Danny, to me, comes off as malicious. And that is something that I have never been able to get with. But the fact that it says that she portrays Karen in favor of Zach and Fatima. My thing is this. What is it that Danny has to say to Zach and Fatima about Karen in the first place? Karen shouldn't even be a topic of discussion if Danny is somehow communicating with Zach and Fatima. So I'm not understanding the logic behind that. I do know that sometimes these synopses, they could be a reach. They could be a far reach. And initially when I read it, that's the direction I was going in. I said, but then again, this is Danny. I would not be surprised if Karen told her not to say something and she said something anyway. And this goes back to, I believe it was the synopsis for episode 2, which is why or whichever one it was, where they're supposed to be meeting for brunch. That's where the stickiness comes in for me. Because if you haven't Fatima join in the sister circle or, adjacent to it, it could be messy because the waters are just, it's too much. I'm pregnant possibly by your fiance. You really good friends with my best friend. Now you coming in. It needs to be a separation. That's just me. And I really thought about it. I'm like, am I being toxic about this entire situation? Maybe. But I do not want to see Karen and Fatima as friends. And I did that review before I read the synopsis for episode 4. And I'm like, it just further reiterates the concept that everybody just, I ain't, Fatima could come around every now and then. But to be intertwined into this sister circle, I'm really not here for it. But we gonna see what happens. Because we all know that Danni is also the type of person that when she's in her feelings, when she's mad, when she's a little hurt, she will let stuff just fly out her mouth regardless of who it hurts. And I'm not interested in that anymore. Like, I really want to see Danni, mature in some ways. And the fact that Danni always like to tell other people's business, but she keeps hers close to the chest. That's another problem I have with her. She want to know people's business. She get mad when she's not informed about what's going on with the girls, yet she doesn't tell them hardly anything about her and her relationships, only when it gets bad. She don't really talk to Andy about anything, but when Jonah blackened when Jonah blackened that eye, she had no problem going to seek help from Andy. Only when it gets really bad. But other than that, Danni doesn't really communicate with the sisters about what's really going on with her. And even when they try to show their support or be there for her, she has a tendency to hit below the belt when it comes to the information she knows about them. And I'm going to just leave it at that because, like I said, the synopsis, it definitely could be a far reach. But on the other hand, it could be exactly what they're saying. So I'm definitely looking forward to this episode to see exactly what does Danni say that can be looked at as betrayal. We gonna see, y'all. Well, I want to thank you guys for listening. Until next time, y'all be safe out there, and I will holler at y'all later.